Have you ever wondered why, no matter how many times we are told to stay humble, the people who shape the world often are not the quiet ones? Since childhood, we are taught that pride is dangerous, that humility is the safer, nobler path. Every moral story tells us to avoid arrogance and embrace modesty. But then, life happens. And in real situations, at work, in relationships, even in families, the pattern flips. The person who is too accommodating, who says yes to everything, slowly fades into the background. People stop listening. Tasks pile on them. Respect quietly slips away. Meanwhile, the one who stands firm, who seems confident, maybe even a little stubborn, begins to get noticed. Decisions bend around them. It's not always fair, but it's real. And that's where the paradox begins. The same force that can make a person powerful can also be the one that destroys them. Let's start with a story. In the late 1970s, a young man walked into his company's boardroom wearing sneakers and a black turtleneck. He wasn't polite in the traditional sense, he was demanding, restless, obsessed with perfection. To some, he was unbearable. To others, brilliant. That man was Steve Jobs. His unrelenting confidence, his conviction that he could bend technology to his will, gave us the iPhone, the Mac, and Pixar's digital revolution. But the same intensity once got him fired from his own company. When he returned years later, something had shifted. He still had fire, but now it burned with focus, not fury. His self-belief was no longer about proving he was right, it was about making something right for the world. That's what happens when pride evolves into purpose. In our everyday lives, this plays out constantly. We're told to be team players, and yes, collaboration matters, but when you try too hard to please everyone, you lose your own shape. Think of that one colleague who always helps, never argues, and stays late to fix others' mistakes. They're dependable, but rarely seen as the one who leads. Now think of the one who sets clear boundaries, who's assertive without being rude. People may complain, but they also listen. Because confidence, not compliance, earns respect. And this isn't new. History's full of this delicate balance. More than 2,000 years ago, Alexander the Great truly believed, he was destined to rule the known world. That belief gave him courage no one had seen before. His troops followed him across deserts and mountains because his certainty made them certain. But eventually, that same conviction turned inward. He stopped listening, stopped questioning. His campaign never ended, until his own exhaustion did. It's almost poetic, the belief that once united empires eventually consumed its creator. Centuries later, that same pattern appears again, this time in the mind of Napoleon Bonaparte. He saw himself not as a ruler, but as destiny incarnate. His vision reshaped Europe, until the mirror of his own glory became his prison. Napoleon's sense of destiny and the pursuit of empire, and Alexander's relentless quest for conquest and glory, embody extreme self-importance and unchecked pride. And yet, that same trait, redirected with purpose, gives us the people who redefine progress. Now, travel east, to India, and you will find another story of conviction, this time quieter, but no less powerful. When Ratan Tata announced that he would build a car for the common Indian family, a safe, affordable car priced at just 1 lakh rupees, the world laughed. Industry experts called it impossible, a fantasy. Competitors mocked the idea. But Tata's belief wasn't rooted in ego, it was rooted in empathy. He had once seen an entire family riding on a scooter in the rain, and decided they deserved better. That vision became the Tata Nano, a bold experiment in accessible innovation. It wasn't about prestige. It was about purpose. And under his leadership, the Tata Group grew into a global force, balancing profit with principle. That's what pride looks like when it serves humanity, not just the self. Now, look at Elon Musk, a man often described in extremes. To some, he is reckless, to others, a genius. When he said reusable rockets and electric cars would become the norm, experts laughed. Investors doubted. But his self-belief, unyielding and borderline obsessive, reshaped aerospace and the auto industry. It's the same flame, one that can light a city or burn it down, depending on who is holding the torch. And then there's Winston Churchill, whose defiance in the face of Nazi invasion turned despair into defiance. He was not humble. He was loud, stubborn, and unshakably convinced that Britain would never surrender. That conviction, his unfiltered certainty, became the voice of a nation's survival. But if history teaches us one thing, it's this: conviction without reflection turns vision into tyranny. Many who began as liberators ended as oppressors because they stopped questioning their own brilliance. So where does that leave us? If humility makes us invisible, and pride can make us reckless, what's the balance? It's not about destroying the self-belief. It's about directing it. You can't build confidence by pretending not to have it. True strength is knowing when to stand your ground and when to step back, not because others demand it, but because your purpose does. Self-belief becomes poison when it exists only for the self. But when it fuels a mission, a vision that serves others, it becomes power. The people we admire most don't just believe in themselves, they believe in something through themselves. Maybe that's why the world remembers the bold ones. Because courage, conviction, and a healthy sense of self, when aimed in the right direction, move humanity forward. So perhaps the message isn't don't have pride. It's don't waste it. Use it to protect your principles, to inspire others, and to stand firm when silence would be easier. Because self-belief without purpose destroys. But same with purpose, builds. Thank you.